Cold. So this is King Bang. I'm dropping this science on y'all tonight. I'm gonna bust a lot of y'all heads with this information. Because a lot of y'all don't understand how to utilize this information because you can't read between the lines. Y'all got to study. See, this is why I say, you know, you have to study or you have to follow people that's going to give you sincerity. You see what I'm saying? In their truth. So I'm gonna drop this information on y'all so y'all can understand this information in its entirety. So I'm gonna break this down for y'all so you can see, because we going into part 2, because this is gonna be another series. I know I didn't finish up the last series, but I think this is very critical to the development of ghosts in the system. So let's look at tax exemption and let's go over this definition of tax exemption. And I'm trying not to make these videos super long so that you can understand the information. So let's go here. It says tax exemption is the reduction or removal of a liability. Liability. Let me make sure I got this right. Tax exemption is the reduction or removal of a liability to make a compulsory payment that would otherwise be imposed by a ruling power upon person, property, income, or transaction. It says a ruling power. So if you tax exempt, you remove all that ruling power stuff. You understand? Understanding how this information works. You dealing with secure party creditor. Let me show you. Let me break this down about the secure. Why you trying to do these UCCs and understand this information. Let me break this down for you. That's why I say it's time to critically think. Everybody just following everybody. Everybody tell you to do this, discharge a debt. So you discharging your debt? Really? I'm gonna break out. I'm gonna want you to make sense of all this stuff. Just make sense of it. Remember, you talking to somebody who boots on the ground. So let's go. Let me see. Let's go. Okay, we went to tax. Okay, we was taxed. So let's go to um bankruptcy. I want you to look at when you bankrupt. I'm gonna look up the term civil death, and I want y'all to tell me, use your critical thinking skills on this information. But now let me go here. Let's talk about the First Amendment. Now, before I go to civil death and all of that, let's talk about the First Amendment. It says the First Amendment, the constitutional amendment ratified with the Bill of Rights in 1791, guaranteeing the freedoms. It's freedoms. Now, we're going to use the two words, guaranteeing and freedoms. The freedoms. The only thing that everybody was fighting for was freedom. So if you talk about I'm guaranteeing the freedoms of this, freedoms of speech and religion, don't religion make you guarantee that you free? Don't religion guarantee you free? Guarantee your freedom? Hold on. King Abba, you making too much sense. If religion guarantee your freedoms, why are you talking about UCCs, Uniform Commercial Codes? Okay, let's go back. Let's go here. Now, this is under the Religious Restoration Act. If you watch part one, this is a part of the statute that I want you to look at. It says findings that Congress. It says findings. The Congress finds that the framers of the. It says Congress. Congress. Got to read. I just want you. Everybody talking about Congress. They regulate commerce and all this stuff. The Congress, the legislative branch, is probably the most powerful branch. But it says Congress finds that the framers of the Constitution recognize free exercise of religion as a unalienable right, secure its protections in the First Amendment to the Constitution. So you want to move away from your religious protections and go with the UCCs, right? It tell you these things are protected. They're secure. They say this is your freedom. But you want to talk about UCCs and move yourself out of your freedoms into a uniform commercial code. Because when you talking about discharging debt, the Quran don't say nothing about discharging debt. And I want you to think about when you read your Quran and your Circle 7 Quran, why do you have to discharge debt? If we are free and we deal in certain practices, why are we still dealing in the forms of slavery? The Quran say you let your slave go. You teach your slaves what you know so that they can be free. Not only just let them go, you teach them what you know. You feel me? But we talk about UCCs. Come on, let me break this on down. Let's get into the critical thinking. So let's look at codes. I looked up moral code. Now we're gonna look up. It says moral codes, a written, formal, and consented set of rules prescribing righteous behavior accepted by a person or a group of people. So when you talk about the UCCs, you talking about uniform commercial codes. Everybody gonna follow these codes, regardless if it break any of your religious rights, or if it subscribe to any of your religious rights, which are secure, protected, and guarantee your freedom. I just showed you. Code, a system of words, letters, figures, or other symbols substituted for other words, letters, program instructions, a systematic collection of laws or regulations. A systematic collection of laws or regulations. So when you're dealing with codes, if this code don't align with your moral codes, How you protecting yourself and making sure you secure your freedoms? Now we're gonna go to this term insolvent and bankruptcy. I'm just gonna break this down. If the country is bankrupt, right, it's insolvent. Here go the first word of insolvent: bankrupt, ruined, collapse, defaulting, liquidated, wiped out, penniless, impoverished. I want to know how you are doing business and commerce with a country that's bankrupt, that's claimed that it's insolvent. I'm dropping some science. I'm going. Am I getting too heavy for y'all? It's insolvent. That's let me break down. I told you we're gonna go into this term civil death. I'm gonna break this down to y'all. Let's say civil death. Right here, this is the second meaning of civil death. In some states, the loss of rights, such as rights to vote and hold public office by persons serving a life sentence, civil disability under disability, officer and public employees. Let me drop this on y'all. Now, this is the third sense. The state of a corporation that formally dissolved or become bankrupt, leaving an estate to be administered for the benefit of shareholders and creditors. Now, it just said country is dealing in bankruptcy. Check deed, public information. It's formally dissolved, become bankrupt. What? What? Mm. What? Let me read this to y'all again. Ooh, this is getting deep. The state of a corporation that has been formally dissolved or become bankrupt, leaving an estate to be administered for the benefit of shareholders and creditors. Mm. It's also termed legal death. Case corporations 617 parentheses 1C JS Corporation Section 852. So let's get into some other stuff, because I want y'all to see all the stuff that I'm talking about when we talking about rights and all this stuff, secure party creditor. So let's look up the word creditor. One to whom a debt is owed. One who gives credit for money or goods. So it says also termed debtee, a person or entity with a definite claim against another, a claim that is capable of adjustment and liquidation. Bankruptcy, a person or entity having a claim against a debtor predating the order for relief concerning the debtor. Bankruptcy, Roman law, one to whom a obligation is owed. Ooh, obligation. Look at the word obligation. whether contractually or otherwise. Let's look at Catholic creditor. Show you the word Catholic creditor. A person who has a security interest in more than one piece of debtor's property. What? A Catholic creditor? A person who has a security interest in in more than one piece of debtor's property? Mm. I'm just looking at all of this. Certificate creditor, a creditor of a municipal corporation who receives a certificate of indebtedness rather than payment because the municipality cannot pay the debt. Man, woo! So people want to do the UCCs, come away from their religious protections, and file all this stuff so that, because I want to show y'all where the UCCs is located. Let me go to my state. Let me show y'all where the UCCs is located. Nah, that ain't. I thought I had it up. Let me show y'all something. This ain't the one I want. The UCCs is in all high revised codes under commercial paper. So you would rather come out of your religious paper and then get codified. I'm just dropping this science. I'm just saying now now they talk about all this good faith, all this stuff. Instead of you gonna run from your guaranteed protections. Now I got other videos that talked about all your other protections that you had. I talk about that. You got to go back and watch my videos. I named like 8 protections that's guaranteed by Constitution and statutory law. But y'all want to run from your protections under your religious rights. That's guaranteed and protected, and anything that goes against the Quran, Circle 7 Quran, is not applicable to your life. Come on, man. This is King L. Bay. I'm dropping fire tonight. I'm dropping fire. You want to become a negotiable instrument. Mm, mm. We doing something different over here because we understand certain things. We understand it. I had to get a deeper revelation from the Most High. So you doing business with somebody broke. So it's just like this. Hey, I come to you. You come to me, talking about, hey King LB, I want to do some business with you, man. I say, okay, let's do some business. But you tell me you ain't got a dime. I say, damn, you ain't got no money. But you talking about us doing some business. So I'm trying to get it. How you doing business with somebody who broke, who bankrupt? A country, somebody tell you this, man, we ain't got no money over here. You gonna run over there and do some business with them? But then they broke, and then they gonna flip the script on you and hold you liable and it's surety. Woo! And this is what I'm gonna tell y'all. Utilizing the UCCs, it's in the UCCs. If you injure somebody, they gonna automatically deem you as surety. Mm. So you would rather have to discharge your debts when you automatically exempt from indebtedness. You would rather have to go through filling out all these forms, doing all these things, bill of exchange, all these different things when you automatically exempt. And you already got the full faith and credit of the United States because they guarantee that. All you got to do is let them know and it's automatically exempt. Y'all don't hear me though. Let's talk about this word offering. We're gonna go into this word. I was looking at offerings. Don't churches deal in offerings? So when they talk about an offer and acceptance, ain't that what churches deal with? When you don't you have to when they offer you the word of God and stuff like that, you have to accept God, right? So now that becomes the jurisdiction you are under. Religion cannot be forced upon you or it's not religion. That's not religion. Religion cannot be forced. If somebody forced their religion on you, that is not religion. That's sacrilegious. That goes against religion. It has to be offered in acceptance. That's why they always talk about these contracts have to be an offer and acceptance. All this stuff is religious. So when you looking at this information, you got to understand offerings. That's why I say you got to understand what you doing. So when you talk using all these words, and when you putting your all this stuff into the UCCs, those are entrapments to guarantee to solidify that you under that jurisdiction and that you're going to abide by these rules, regardless if they bilateral or not, regardless if it's all one-sided for the benefit of one person and not you. So a contribution is a donation. It's an offering, a gift. An offering is all these things. It's a charity. It's an alms. An endowment. All these things. So you got to understand how this stuff works. So you can be exempt from all that so you automatically can discharge it. But you got to understand what you need to do and how to drop this science on everybody. I'm going to have to cut this video short in a little bit I'm just dropping this science on y'all. Let's look at an asset. I'm gonna show y'all something. It says a useful or valuable thing, person, or quality. That's an asset. A useful or valuable thing, person, or quality. Mm. Let me go. I'm gonna go here, but I wanna go. I'm looking for something first. Uh I hope I didn't wipe it out. Uh nah, I don't think I did. I hope I did. Pledge. Here we go. The labor theory of value. See, your labor is an asset. You got to understand all this. It says the labor theory of value was an early attempt by economists to explain why goods were exchanged for certain relative prices on the market. It suggests that the value of the commodity will be measured objectively by the average number of labor hours necessary to produce it. Giving y'all some food for thought. So this is King L Bay. I'm trying to check the time. This is 27 minutes. I'm going to end it right here. I went over the video a little bit too long, so I'm going to end it. I'm going to do part 3 and take it off from there. Peace and love.